press conference. Coach starts off with a quick opening statement. Please raise your hands for questions.
You know, in the last 2 days, we really got some good news starting with Aubrey. It's a guy that's worked really hard since he's been here. I'm glad to see that he gets rewarded and gets a chance to compete and play. Trey Smith is going to be able to play some snaps on Saturday, so that's a great thing for Trey. This is something that Trey and his family decided to do, and along with our doctors here at the university and people across the country have come up with a plan for him to be able to play the game that he loves. Had really good work this week. Offensively, I see the maturity of our team. Starting at the quarterback position and the wide receivers. Still moving some guys around up front. We look to play a lot of folks. On the defensive side, still a lot of youth. Got some guys that won't be able to play this weekend, but that's okay. It's opportunities for other folks. With that, I'll take any questions.
Steve and David.
I know you can't go into too many specifics, but even in generalities, can you say anything about what this plan is that's going to be able to allow Trey to play?
No, it's a plan that our doctors came up with, and as far as playing in the game, I mean, Trey's just like any other guy on our team. He'll definitely play some. How much, I don't know, but he's practiced a few times this camp, so he's worked really hard since this all began. Probably in the best shape of his life. I think he weighs about 320 pounds. So when we got here, he weighed 365. So he's worked really hard, and I'm proud that he's getting an opportunity to do what he loves to do.
David, and then Austin.
Jerion Bryce, what body is heading up the investigation there, and what are they sort of seeking to learn?
Well, David, I've said this. This will be the third time that I've said it. I can't comment about that situation. He's suspended from our team right now. There'll be a point in time, I'm sure, there'll be a lot of things that will come out, but right now we can't comment.
Coach, a year ago, Trey came back and he went into playing tackle. What's the differences for him playing guard versus playing tackle, in the offense? Do you feel like maybe there's a comfort level that he has at guard more so than he did a year ago at tackle?
Well, he's probably more of a guard. He's a guy that could probably play all five positions, but I think he's more comfortable playing inside. So that's where we want to give him a chance to be at his best.
Coach, just the impact of getting Aubrey, what do you expect for him to bring to the lineup?
We've practiced all camp, the same amount of reps for everybody. So we're going to play a lot of guys on the defensive front. So it's Aubrey's a guy that could play anywhere up and down the line of scrimmage. So it definitely gives us a little more depth there.
Jeremy, two questions about Trey. Do you know about when he was cleared for full contact in practice? And then have you been given a plan to manage his snaps? Is it entirely up to you, or do you have to follow a plan to manage his snaps with this?
No, the plan's definitely with our medical staff. So we've got a plan. We really are keeping it in-house. I don't think it's smart to let our opponents know how many snaps Trey's going to play or not going to play.
Just as a follow-up on that, though, Jeremy, you did note in the statement that it was Trey's decision to play. When he kind of came to you once the doctors had kind of made the necessary assessments that it's okay for him to play, how did he kind of approach you, and what was that conversation like when you realized, okay, he is going to be a guy that we can count on this week versus Georgia State?
Well, I'm sure Trey's wanted to play the entire time, so he's not made – there's not been any secrets about that. I think it's why him and his family have really thoroughly investigated this, along with our medical staff, to figure out a way to give him the best opportunity to have success, not only right now, but for the rest of his life.
Does it hurt him that he's missed so much contact the last however long it's been, or is he just kind of that guy that can step back into it?
No, I think everybody that, when you play football, it's really a developmental game, especially at his position. Trey he's a very talented guy, but there's no doubt that the more practices you get, the better you'll perform. So he's really worked hard at the skill sets, just not with everybody else. So we'll see how he does.
Are doctors going to have to clear him each week, or is it sort of he's cleared now, and then if there's anything that happens or he notices, then they'll have to look at him again, or how is that going to sort of work?
Well, we're not going to go into the plan. That's Trey and his family's business, along with the medical staff.
Got any more clarity on whether Batuli will be available on Saturday?
No, he's not going to be able to play this week.
And in light of that, Coach, Henry, is he capable of calling the signals? Will you put that on him, or as a freshman, can he do it?
Yes, all of our linebackers could be our signal callers. So these guys, we've got guys like Shannon Reed and Will Ignat that have been in the system, for 2 years now. J.J. Peterson, he's more probably like a freshman because he missed all summer and fall camp last year. And then Jeremy Banks. Jeremy's probably not ready to call the signals, but, he's a guy that, he from last year when we moved him over during the fall, he really picked it up really fast. So we got some guys in there that can operate.
Vince and Eric and Brent.
Which coaches do you plan to have up in the press box versus down on the field?
I don't really think that's relevant with our game plan and anything else. I think we'd like to keep that in house as well.
Eric, Brent, Wes.
Is Jeremy Banks up to speed enough to where he can play a lot of snaps on Saturday at linebacker?
Yes, he can.
Brent and Wes.
You were asked a little bit about this on the teleconference today in terms of tackling with your team. How concerning as a defensive coach is it that first game of where your team is as a tackling and a physical football team from a defensive side of the ball?
We call it ABCs. We work every single day on footwork, block protection, and tackling every single day. So it's interesting. Years ago when I played, my coach told me that if you couldn't tackle, we wouldn't recruit you. But back then, every drill was a tackle drill, right? So it's not that way anymore. So when you watch, like I mentioned it today, when you watch bowl games, when there goes a period of time from when teams have played, it seems like there's not as many there's a lot more missed tackles. There's more points in bowl games, and usually starting the year, you get a couple of scrimmages there. But every day when you thud, if you get your body in the right position and the right body angles and attack the ball the right way, you get plenty of opportunities. I'm sure when you look around college football, probably as the season goes, guys become better at what they're trying to do.
Last and then final question, Gene.
Jeremy, along those same lines with tackling, is that something that obviously it's the same rule everywhere, so everybody has to go through it? But how much has that changed about the way that you coach defense? Have there been different drills you can try to do to kind of simulate tackling without actually going to the ground, or how have you had to adjust things that way?
We have not changed the way we practice. The last 10 years that I've been in college football, and even when I was a high school coach, we practice the same now as we did back then. We never took guys to the ground unless we were going to scrimmage. So all that's the same. There's not as many practices. That's probably where there's a difference. When I was in school 25 years ago, we had 3-a-days, for 2 weeks, and now we don't even have 2-a-days, So it's just really cutting down on the amount of days that you're actually out there.
Any final question?
Coaches always talk about adversity and, programs and players having to deal with it. Just how do you feel like everybody's kind of dealt with this week's adversity? Coaches all the way down.
This week there's not been any adversity for us. I mean, we're getting ready to play Georgia State. Everybody's excited, fired up, ready to play. You don't get many opportunities, right? So everything that we do, starting from when we were little bitty kids, right? Playing in the backyard to playing Pop Warner to, junior high ball in the weight room, all the way through. There's very few moments that you get to play in a game, coach in a game, so you take advantage of it. And everybody in our program's excited about this game.
Thank